I'm in trouble, huge. I mean, really big trouble.
This really shocked me, because Stan is the kind of guy who would talk himself out of any trouble. What kind of trouble?
I got fired today.
Fired? You mean for good?
You don't get fired temporarily. It's permanent. It's like a lifetime firing.
Why? What happened?
It was on account of Andrew, the colored guy who sweeps up. Well, he was cleaning the floor, right? In the stockroom, and he lays his broom against the table to put some junk in the trash can, and the broom slips, knocks a can of linseed oil all over the table, ruins 3 brand new hats right out of the box. $9 Stetsons. It wasn't his fault though. He didn't put the linseed oil there, right?
Right.
So Mr. Stroheim sees the oily hats, and he gets crazy. He sees some of Andrew. He says to Andrew, the hats are going to have to come out of his salary. $27, and Andrew starts crying right there.
He cried?
42 years old. He's bawling all over the stockroom. I mean, the man hasn't gotten too much furniture upstairs anyway, but he's real sweet. He brings me coffee, always laughing, telling me jokes. I never understand him, but I laugh anyway. He makes me feel good, you know?
Yeah.
Anyway, I said to Mr. Stroheim, I didn't think that was fair. It wasn't his fault.
Wait, you said that to him?
Sure, why not? So Mr. Stroheim says, you want to pay for the hats, Big Mouth? So I said, no, I don't want to pay for the hats. And he was like, then mind your own business, Big Mouth.
Holy mackerel.
Right? So Mr. Stroheim looks at me like machine gun bullets are coming out of his eyes, and then he calmly sends Andrew over to the factory to pick up 3 new hats, which is usually my job. So guess what Mr. Stroheim tells me to do?
What?
He tells me to sweep up. He says for the week, I'm the cleaning man. What?
I can't believe it.
So everybody's watching me now, right? Waiting to see what I'm gonna do. Even Andrew stopped crying and watched. I felt the dignity of everyone who worked in that store in my hands. So I grit my teeth and I pick up the broom, right? And there's this big pile in the dirt right in the middle of the floor.
Yeah?
And I sweep it all over Mr. Stroheim's shoes. Andrew had just finished shining them this morning, if you want to talk about irony.
I'm dying. I'm actually dying.
You could see everyone in the place about to bust a gut. Mr. Muliki, the bookkeeper, could hardly keep her false teeth in her mouth, right? Andrew's eyes are hanging 5 inches out of their sockets.
This is the greatest story in the history of the world.
So Mr. Stroheim grabs me and pulls me into his back office, closes the door and pulls down the shades. He gives me this whole story about how he was brought up in Germany and to respect his superiors. And that if he ever did such a thing like you do, they would beat me in the cliff and they would carry me away dead.
That's perfect. You're not even down perfect.
And I say, yeah, but we're not in Germany, old buddy.
You said that to him?
No, I said that to myself. I didn't want to go too far, you know?
I was wondering.
Anyways, he says he's always liked me and he's always thought I was a good boy, right? And that he was always going to give me one more chance. He wanted a letter of apology. And that if the letter of apology wasn't on his desk by 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, I could consider myself fired.
I would have had a heart attack. What did you say?
I said I was not going to apologize if Andrew still had to pay for the hats. He said that was between him and Andrew, and that he expected the letter from me in the morning. I said goodnight, walked out of his office, got my hat, and went home.
I'm sweating. I swear to God, I'm sweating all over.
I don't know why I did it, but I just got so mad. It just wasn't fair, you know? I mean, if you give in when you're 18 and a half, you'll give in for the rest of your life, don't you think?
I suppose so. So, what's the decision? Are you gonna write the letter?
Nah.
Positively?
Positively. Except I'll have to discuss it with Pop. I know we need the money, but he told me once, you always have to do what you think is right in this world and stand up for your principles.
And what if he says he thinks you're wrong, that you should write the letter?
He won't. He's gonna leave it up to me. I know it.
But what if he tells you to write the letter?
Oh, well, that's something we won't know until after dinner, will we?
All in all, it was shaping up to be one heck of a dinner. I'll say this though, I always had this two-way thing about my brother. Either I worshiped the ground he walked on, or I hated him so much that I wanted to kill him. That's how I felt about him today.